R Sreesankar, Head Institutional Equities at Prabhudas Lilladher. Sreesankar, hi, good morning. A big run for the market over the last couple of months. A bit global, a bit domestic, but what's your call now going forward? Do you think the market is overheated, or can this market run, can this run continue backed by the FII flows?
See, the way FII flows have been happening, it has been pretty positive, and this flow can take the market in a run-up to the election to any level. We are at a new high. So where it will go and end in the near term is something which I can't predict. I will not be surprised if this rise continues to happen in the near term. What is disturbing for me is that the net FII numbers is, while the net FII numbers is positive, the domestic numbers doesn't seem to be that confident at all. It still continues to remain negative. So if we've seen that the kind of redemption pressure a lot of the domestic mutual funds have been having, if that's stopped for the time being, then it will be even more good news for the market.
Okay, Sreesankar, hi. Thanks for joining in this morning. One of the trends that we've seen today is the likes of the capital goods space, which is on fire. We have Crompton Greaves, which is up around 6% Voltas, which is up around 3% and we have the cap goods index as well, which is trading at a 30-month high. Would you advocate a buy on any of these stocks, and do you think that the fundamentals are possibly going to see some amount of a change for good in the coming quarters?
If you ask me the question about whether we will recommend the capital goods space for a next quarter, my answer is I don't think this space is effectively for a quarter performance. I do not think that any kind of a improvement in performance to happen in this capital goods space, forget the next quarter, even for the quarter beyond that. This has to be looked from a long-term point of view. What is this long-term point of view? The assumption is that post the elections, you have a stable government, and if that stable government is there, then you actually see a lot more business decision taking place, capex cycle improving, and consequent to these capex cycle improvement, you will see the effect of it in the capital goods sector. So for all the euphoria to be seen through in the performance of these companies, it will take some more time. I don't think it will happen over a quarter.
Okay, but I am reading the report that you've written. You did mention that you believe that L&T and Crompton Greaves are the better stocks in the capital goods universe for investment on decline.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely. The reason is when we look into the entire capital goods space, see, let's be very clear about it. How many of these capital good companies, if you look at some of the space like power, there may be companies which is linked to only power. But to us, the L&T and capital goods, L&T and Crompton represent among the capital goods space one of the best placed stocks to be invested in.
Okay, Sreesankar, what about Maruti and rest of the auto pack? Maruti is the top gainer today, of course, up about 8% or so. Are you convinced enough?
Maruti, today's rally is an even-based rally, even-based gain. But having said that, there was a certain amount of uncertainty revolving around the stock. On Saturday's news flow has removed to a great extent that uncertainty which was around Maruti, which I think is extremely positive. And our analyst has also come back and said that it is extremely positive.
Okay. Sreesankar, would you, how much of a dampener do you think the monsoon could play on the markets if in case that El Nino effect does come into play more adversely? Do you expect a significant correction on the Nifty if in case the monsoon is not as far as to expectation?
Here we are getting into a different discussion altogether. Right now, the market is expecting a good. Probably let's look into what is the current scenario in the market. Number one, it's expected that somebody gets a majority and you have a firm government in place so that a lot of business decision gets taken, and that's effectively seen in your economy improving. Consequently, if your economy improves, your earnings growth improves in the entire industry, and so on and so forth. So market is moving ahead of it. That's number one. Number two, Today, again you mentioned about the global growth. The global economic growth is also going to be on the positive side. So if the global growth comes back, again you are positive on the market. Third, the only negative thing to me in this entire piece has been the slowdown in China. The Chinese slowing down has actually resulted in a lot of base commodities, be it in terms of steel, aluminium, etc., which is copper. These kind of stocks have not done well. In fact, the prices of these commodities on a year-on basis have been negative.
Sure.
So now you are assuming that no big negative news flows from the global side, and you have a positive side, a positive scenario happening in the domestic market. So market has been running ahead of it. So you may, sorry, you may see the election results on 16th of May. Then you will see a different, if you see a different kind of an environment in the country as against what the market is expecting today, then the tables are turned. That's number one. Number two, your monsoon, that's again to say June, July. Your June it starts, and July is where you will start to see the implications of that monsoon, July, August.
Sure.
It's actually now 5 months from now.
True.
4 to 5 months. That's a long period. In that 5 months, you can see a lot more changes which can happen in the, not only in the domestic market but also in the global market.
Sure.
Having said that, if you read that report, we have also mentioned something on the El Nino, what you mentioned, because some of the global food prices which you have seen in the last 1 month has actually moved probably 15%, 10 to 15% higher. So there are some headwinds which we need to be careful, and if you have a monsoon which is going to affect you, yes, there will be definitely a speed breaker.
Okay, Sreesankar, so as you said, that's about still 4 to 5 months away. So let's talk about some stocks then. Again, looking at your note, couple of interesting names that stand out. PI Industries, where you have a price target of 300, and Z Entertainment, which already had quite a bit of rally. If you could explain these two stock picks.
See, our analysts continue to believe, and we as a house continue to believe, that PI Industries have got a potential to grow, and it will give a steady growth. And that's the reason why we have a price target that is given there. Having said that, after the last quarter result, the stock corrected. Probably our belief is that the results were in line with our expectations, but what I understand was the street was expecting much higher. So probably these kind of expectations between the street's expectations, if it's way higher, you may see in the initial underperformance of the stock, but over a period of time that should take care of it. That's what our call on the stock is, number one. Number two, and again about Z, we continue to believe that it's also going to be a big beneficiary about the conditional access system which will get implemented. Now, the rider here is, if the pace of that implementation gets delayed, then there could be some delay in terms of the numbers that is estimated in all these, especially in the media companies, which will happen. So we continue to believe the cash flow, what Z has, zero debt, and the potential that is there in terms of the implementation of cash, you are extremely positive on that counter as well.
Okay, all right, Sreesankar, we leave it at that. Thanks very much for joining in. So that's the view coming in from Prabhudas Lilladher.